Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today what we're going to talk about is a muscle that you don't really commonly hear about, and it's called the Serratus Anterior. So what is the purpose of the Serratus Anterior? Why are we even talking about it? And why should it be a focal point in the strength community? Well, within our body, we have all different types of bones, long, short, irregular. We have a pair of flat bones that perform a lot of functions for powerlifting, bodybuilding, and strongman. They're called the scapula, aka the shoulder blade. Now, what happens with this is that the shoulder blades need to be able to move around the body to perform different movements. And with that being said, your shoulder blades, which are behind you, they perform actions such as, so if these are the scapula, they go retraction, protraction, elevation, and depression. So that helps me when I bring my shoulder blades together, separate them, bring them up and shrug, and then push them down for certain types of movement. So if you really think about it, your scapula, those flat bones in the back, are doing all those motions throughout the whole day. Whether you're trying to get up off the floor, reach for something off the ceiling, a bench press, a row, those scapula need to be functional. And one of the muscles that helps with the functions of the scapula is the serratus anterior. The main function of the serratus anterior is to stabilize the scapula to the body so that it can perform all these different motions. Now, the serratus anterior is not going to help your scapula go up or necessarily down, but the serratus anterior is going to keep the scapula intact with the midsection of the body. But because of where it's placed, it attaches to the rib cage. Now, not all of the ribs, but a good amount of them. The serratus anterior actually helps with a level of protraction. So when the shoulder blades separate, so like right here, I'm in a neutral position, but then when I allow my shoulder blades to separate right here, that's when I start to feel a sensation right down here. And what's happening is those muscles of the serratus anterior are shortening to allow those shoulder blades to separate. Now, when we think about the serratus anterior and go back to the beginning of the video, we're thinking about, okay, why would we talk about for powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilding, etc.? Well, those muscles help stabilize, but they also can provide a level of aesthetic that can be maybe desirable within the strength community. So with our core, with our abdomen, everybody desires a six-pack. But then when you look from the side and see those ripples down the side of the body, that's actually the serratus anterior. These muscles help the scapula with stability against the midsection of the body. They provide the action or assist with the action of protraction when the shoulder blades separate. And then they also provide an aesthetic to the body that complements the six-pack so that you kind of have a full-framed physique and that you can impress everybody and be at the top of the table. Now it kind of seems like the serratus anterior is just a little bit more important than we actually thought it was. So what are some exercises that we can do to help isolate that muscle group in order to help them thrive? We actually have an article which talks about the 9 different exercises you can do to isolate that serratus anterior. And today I'm going to actually show you 2 of my favorite movements that I think isolate that muscle group tremendously. So the first video I'm going to show you, which you'll be seeing on the screen shortly, is these scapular push-ups. So what happens with this one is you get your hands in push-up position and you start in a retracted position because most people are familiar with the retracted position. And then from a retracted position, you're going to separate your shoulders and push your shoulders as hard as you can down to allow the scapula to separate. And once you do that, you should feel these muscles, the serratus anterior, starting to get recruited and to be engaged within movement. It's one of the simplest movements to do. And with that being said, there's no other resistance you need, just your body weight. So to incorporate this movement is very easy wherever you are and whatever kind of split you're working on. Now, the next movement I really enjoy is the dumbbell pullover. Now, a lot of people talk about the dumbbell pullover being a chest movement, like a low pec movement. Some people talk about the dumbbell pullover being a lat movement, but when it comes to the action of the scapula and how they move around the body, the serratus anterior is actually engaged quite a bit. It's going to be a really good muscle to use for those who want to elevate their overhead press or have the overhead press a part of their competition too. So remember, we've talked about so far the scapular push-ups. We talked about the dumbbell pullover. There's so many more movements you can do that can recruit the serratus anterior. A lot of them are going to make sure that your shoulder blades separate, which is protraction, or there are going to be a lot of movements on this list that are overhead movements. Like I mentioned earlier, they're going to hit the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior, although it's not a very talked about muscle, is actually pretty important. It can provide functionality and it can provide strength, especially for people who have to do the overhead action. So if you like this information or maybe have more questions about some of the things we talked about in this video and why they're important, make sure to like the channel, subscribe it, and even leave a comment. With that being said, sometimes your comments become videos that we make later, and we really enjoy the interactions and the things that you provide us in the comment section. So again, my name is Joseph Lucero. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration of the scapular push-up and the dumbbell pullover, and hopefully we'll see you again soon and talk more about all things powerlifting.